Salutations, sleuths. I'm Gina.
I'm Maria.
And we are
Fortuitous.
Boom! I told him about your ajar moment. I'm like, how her 1 to 2 brain cells she had left from being on such a lack of sleep are just every vocab that she's ever learned in her life and never been able to use until that night
Was coming out.
I thought that was pretty cool.
And then what's wild is, so I was reading this one book, and they use like the exact word in the same context that I did. It mentioned something about leaving the door ajar, and I was like, "Thank you."
What a good one.
I probably read it somewhere exactly that way, and then that's all my brain could put together.
Oh my gosh.
Ajar.
Before we go, like, in everything,
Yeah.
what are we talking about today?
It's an excellent question because it ended up not being what I thought we were gonna do.
Oh, okay.
So originally, it was going to be that, like, you know, reasons that you, like, you know, should feel good about yourself, etc. Didn't get into it. And then I found this one article about this ride or die bitch that was, like, super awesome. And so that's what it was going to be about. But then the more the story progressed, the less it became like a ride or die, and more it became of like this wild story of this one dude.
Okay.
And so it has progressed. So, I mean...
I'm gonna guess there's a lot of devil in the details.
No, I kept it pretty short.
Wait, a lot of details in the devil?
You had it right the first time. Details in the devil. No, devil in the details. Stop.
Well, okay, before you go too far, I asked that because I wanted to know or gauge how long it was gonna be, because I had things I wanted to talk about.
Okay. That's fine.
Do we have that? Do we have that time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first, can we talk about current day life right now?
Like today life?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Biden.
Oh.
I said it.
Political life?
Political. Well,
You said the P word.
I said it, and
Yeah.
that's not everything. But I just like, there's been so much going on. I just had to like get it off my chest.
Like, how do you not say something about it?
I
Yeah.
just like, oh.
Get it off your head. Yeah.
Well, this just spoke to me. Okay, well, I only say that because, one, I thought it was kind of funny. Also, I respect it because I thought it showed he was understanding it was just time to go.
Well, so I like how you brought that opinion to it. My opinion was that we just experienced a conspiracy theory in real life.
Which is?
Like, he was never actually going to run. Like, they put Biden and Trump against each other. And then, like, Biden was always going to, like, bail out.
Really?
Yeah.
But he did a full 4 years.
Well, like, the re-election. He was never going to go again.
You didn't think so? I didn't know he was until he was, and I was like,
My guy.
my guy. Like, and that was when, I will just be honest and fully transparent about my views. I am not a fan of either options. It is like,
It's a
pick your
lose-lose.
poison.
The whole country is at a lose-lose. And
Yes.
that's everyone's thoughts. So then, but yeah, so they get everyone all heated with these two, like, terrible candidates.
Uh-huh.
Surprise, surprise, one drops out, and then, oh, you have Madame President. Potential.
Which, it sold me, because I'm going to tell you,
Because then
that changed the game for me. That was like, because I'm over here like, you know how when you can go to election and you don't have to pick one of the two like main candidates, you can
You're
always
independent,
like, or
yeah.
you can just choose fucking, I remember there was an option, like I've heard people put
Kanye.
Mickey Mouse, or yeah, like some random ass shit. And I was like, I'll go for Michelle Obama, like why the fuck isn't she running? Because, again, I'm going to throw out all the all the politics.
Yeah.
I think that she is awesome. And she has a history of presidency in her back year, like giving her,
She's had experience.
guidance. Yeah. And so I just thought that would be like a cool plot twist, is to see Michelle run. But, she didn't, that's fine. But now we've got our homegirl here.
Who dances and grooves, I can get behind a little shimmy shimmy.
Yeah. I mean, lots of game changers, lots of plot twists. I don't know. It was just a nice change of pace and it was a breath of fresh air, because I'm telling you,
We would have been
I was
fucking doomed.
I was like, this is how it's gonna be, man. Like, this is where we're at this point. I'm sure it still has potential to go one way, and I think we can all kind of guess what it might be. But
Well, there's a 50-50 shot.
you think?
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope there is actually a chance here.
I think so, because there's enough Gen Zers, I think, that are of voting age that know that it's important. Also, with the whole Roe v. Wade issue up, you know, the, what are we called? Reproductive rights. I think you'll get a lot of women that will feel very strongly about in a certain way.
A lot of women.
A lot of women, yeah.
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 Woman.
A woman. A lot of woman.
I'm gonna tell you right now, that's fucking bullshit, and I am in that corner. Like, that needs to get scat.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm all it's my body, my choice.
Yeah, they totally threw in church estate. That just completely crossed lines. Like, who said that was okay? The state did. They said, well, fuck you, and here we go. Rare. So, I don't know. Throwing that on the table, I am not very curious of what other people's thoughts are, but if you're gonna, like,
I'll be curious. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give it to Maria.
Yeah. I mean, I check the comments, so like, you know, give us your thoughts.
I was like, Greg, who are you gonna vote for? He's like, I can't vote. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
oh yeah.
Well, Vic can't now. He's a citizen, so he can. Yeah,
Good for him.
yeah,
Okay, so we're gonna sidestep.
yeah.
You ready? The Olympics.
Oh yeah.
I am fucking stoked, dude. I have been like on the Olympics like hotcakes all week long.
Have they started?
Up. No.
Okay, I didn't think that they started.
No,
yet.
I don't. As much as I've been involved and into it, I don't know when they
Don't
start.
have that detail.
I was kind of wondering if you did, but yeah, just there's so much exciting stuff coming in. If you could name your top 3 sports, if you could go see it live, what would you look at?
Oh, swimming would be one, and then
Really?
yeah. Well, I mean, I was a swimmer, and then like
yeah,
I just find like for me, it's just like they do it so effortless, and it's like beautiful,
Yeah.
and it'd be just amazing to watch. And then I would do track and field 100%, and then from there, I don't know. Are we talking summer, winter, or just in general?
Summer. Current.
Current. I don't know what else. Those would be the 2 big ones for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna go gymnastics. Oh. I fucking love it. And I'm right up there with the stereotype. Like, I love Simone. There's a Netflix
Yeah, I was gonna say.
couple episodes out for her. I thought I respected her, and now I don't even know what respect is without knowing Simone Biles. I just feel, I'm like, I experience a little bit of stress and how, like, I watch how she handles what she has to deal with.
All of those athletes. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, you know, she dropped out, and I kind of forgot all about that. So, like, watching this Simone Biles Rising it really kind of...
Inspiring.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was really neat, and I was proud of her, and it gave a lot of perception that I didn't have, and a lot of people didn't have, because they totally, like, kind of called out some of the people that would just, like, immediately jump to conclusions when she left, you know.
Right.
The chunksters sitting on the couch.
Those that can't do a front somersault.
Yeah. They're like, didn't sports not teach you anything? I mean, they kind of like show those 2 seconds of someone saying that, and it's on a podcast, and I'm like, everyone just goes quick to judge, and they spotlight the twisties. Did you watch it?
I have not watched it. I know it's out there. It's on I have it on my list. Same, there's a track and field one also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of, like sprinters.
Oh, God.
So that's on my list
Tell
too.
me what it is. I'll go watch it.
I think it's called Sprint.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's on my next to do.
Yeah, I wanted
a
to watch
sucker.
them before the Olympics.
Okay. Well, the twisties, I won't give too much away, but basically it's a cute little word for you getting lost in your flips, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Very dangerous.
Right, yeah.
And people don't give it credit. Like, they're just like, what? You know?
So they tried twisting.
Dude, literally, if the level of difficulty in the last 20 years has excelled beyond imagination, and I think that, you know, if they were to get lost in the twisties 20 years ago, I'm not going to say I understand, but I can see a little more of the judgment. But doing what Simone does, and at this level, and she literally has, I think, like 4 or 5 flips named after her.
Yeah.
Or
something crazy or
skills, yeah.
Yeah.
And for her to do this, and if she get lost in it, she could actually die.
Well, you can land on your head or your neck, and yeah.
So for her to call it and have that amount of wisdom and just, like, you know what you have to do for yourself, despite all the judgment, hats off.
It would be very easy
Literally.
to try and like push through it because those are the expectations, and you know that people are going to judge because people don't understand, and that's just what people do.
Yeah.
So I can see where it'd be a really difficult decision to step down, which makes it all that more, respectful.
I got a little nervous though, because after I watched it, I'm like, okay, as much as I'm excited for her and respect her, she hasn't done 2024 yet. So I'm kind of like,
holding the breath.
yeah, like everybody just piss off, step to the side, don't say anything to her, she's like, she is not on Twitter, so if you're going to talk shit, she can't see it, so don't get in her head. You're not going to.
Dude, I can imagine
or whatever it's called, X.
The money that sports psychologists make. I would love to be in on a session of a sports psychologist.
What?
So like each athlete kind of has like their own psychologist that like they talk to about like
psychiatrist.
Probably.
I think psychiatrist. You mean therapist?
Synonymous, yeah.
No, psychologist is not the same thing as a psychiatrist.
Whatever. People know what I mean. They have like the person that they talk to pre-game, after game, etc.
Okay.
Like about like not letting people get in your head, all that type of stuff.
Okay.
So I would be interested in sitting in on a session to see what kind of things that they say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that would just be insane. I would encourage anyone to go watch it, get inspired. She inspired me.
Yeah, you went running today.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been running a little bit. Okay, it was just timing. But yes, love Simone. Okay, well, without further ado, we can get back into your thing. But I don't know. I just really wanted to
touch on the current topics.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to shout out if we have any art lovers or people that are really into like local art stuff and you're in the St. Louis area. We have a friend who is extremely talented, and she has like a permanent booth that has opened up, and it's like a storefront. You can go check it out. It's called Painted Tree is the place, and then she's got a booth in there called Olivia Parker Prints. Check it out. It's amazing stuff. I have stuff hanging up on my gallery wall of hers.
Yep.
I use my little coaster of hers.
Yep. I think the coasters are my favorite. I have her
coaster.
coaster and a print in my cubicle at work.
Yeah. And she's into like the really like earthy animals and just like Mother Nature type stuff. So it's really cool. So
if you're not going for anything else, go for her. She's like just her best personality. She's her little flower child. Go have a conversation with her.
She's interesting, yeah. Because I wouldn't say like a typical flower child, because she's got like a flower child, but also like
yeah,
fuck with you type.
Yeah. So I don't know.
She's not a dainty flower child.
No.
Like fuck with me, flower child.
I love that bitch. Call her a flower child because she could never say a bad thing about someone. Like she's just doing her own thing, staying in her own lane, supporting everyone and anyone. And it's time to go support her.
Yeah, so Olivia Parker Prints at Painted Tree in Maplewood.
Let's go.
Check it out. All right. So, to the episode, which is about none of that. So I was inspired by this episode because in our difficult question episode, we were essentially like ride or dies. We picked Vic and Greg for like every single option. And it reminded me of a story of this woman. She got her pilot's license in order to save her husband, breaking him out of jail. So her husband was in jail. She got her pilot's license so that she could break him out.
Okay.
Yes. And her name is Nadine Vajor. So the episode was going to be about her and about being like a ride or die. Mm-hmm. But the more I learned, the less it became about that, and the more it became about Michel Vajor, who's the actual husband, who he has broken out of prison not once, not twice, but 5 times.
What has he done?
And they weren't for like horrible, crazy things. It's not like it's for murder or anything. He's, you know, like a petty crime type guy. So armed robbery, burglarizing, stuff like that. And so one of the breakouts involved his wife Nadine with a helicopter. Another breakout involved using Baby Bell cheese. Another breakout involved nectarines. So it's just like a really wild, fascinating, bizarre story that then like turned into like Michel's story, Michel Vajour.
Okay.
I mean, it's French, so pardon my French. I'm just an American. So if I mispronounce, you understand.
Okay.
And it's actually kind of like inspiring in a way. Like, I'm just going to say up front, like, I'm a fan of Michel. I can see where people like won't be. So again, I'd be curious if people like him, don't like him, etc. So who is Michel? Who is Nadine? How did he get out? That's what we're going to find out. So Michel Vajour, he's also known as the King of Escape. He was born in France in 1951, and he's actually still alive today. He's 73 years old, and he was born to questionably loving parents. Couldn't really tell you, but I could tell you that they found out 4 years too late that they did not want kids. So at 4 years old, they decided they didn't want him anymore, and so they kind of shoved him off onto his Aunt Germaine. And she loved him, she doted on him, she was like really great for him. And while he was living with Aunt Germaine, there was a local priest that kind of served as like a father figure for him, and really took a liking to him as well, took him under his wing and taught him how like to go hunting, climbing, fishing, all like these outdoorsy stuff. And so he had like typical boy shit. So he had a really great like 4 years. However, sadly, Aunt Germaine died of cancer when Michel was 8. And so he was sent back to his parents that didn't want him to begin with, which included an alcoholic, abusive father. And so Michel's criminal career started in his teens. You've got your typical rebellious teen phase, but then you also have this alcoholic, abusive father, piece of shit mom who, you know, didn't want you to begin with. So surprise, surprise. And so Michel started getting into like petty crime. Nothing crazy, like I said, like stealing shit here and there. And he was just a juvenile delinquent. At 18, he met a woman named Zabet, and put a bun in the oven, aka planted his seed, aka put a Lego in her Prego, aka pregnant.
Oh God, you were so excited to say those, weren't you? Just a smile with guns.
I don't know why, but yeah. So he's 18, he's got a pregnant woman. At this time, he's working in a factory, so, you know, like, not hard cash coming in. And so during the week, he's putting lots of hours into the factory and then taking care of his pregnant woman. So on the weekend, he decides he wants to like cut loose, and that's when he like has his time and he does his passions and his hobbies, which we love. Except his hobby includes going to the bars, getting skunk drunk, stealing a car, joyriding it around, and then he does return the car. So we've got ourselves an honest criminal.
Oh,
so,
great. Love that.
So gets drunk, finds a car he wants to drive around, pops some wheelies. I don't know what he does.
Did you say what year this is?
So he was born in 51. At 18, this is like 1970-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
The 70s, baby.
The 70s.
Got it.
What a time. And then one night, okay, so right before the 70s, because this is in 1969, he had a little bit too much fun, because he's doing like his usual weekend hobby extravaganza with the drinking and stealing a car. But instead of returning the car back, he drives it home, whether by accident or he was too tired, too drunk, we don't know. And so he wakes up the next morning to cops banging down the door, and flight or fight kicks in, and he decides to nope the fuck out of there. leaving his pregnant woman there, and they end up arresting her for what was it? Harboring a fugitive.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
no.
it was every man for himself. He did not go back.
Real honest criminal, yeah.
But he is caught 2 weeks later, and then he was sentenced to 2.5 years in jail. So he's in jail between the ages of 18 to 21. And he is apparently still in his rebellious stage, or he's in his angry era because he was a shit inmate. He was not a model inmate.
Well, dude, 2.5 years. I'm wondering if that was because of the other crimes that they like kind of put 2 and 2 together, that he had all committed all of them, or is that for the one crime?
I think for the one. It was just pretty steep. 2.5 years.
That's a long time for
I guess
I don't
for
know.
like stealing the car and then evading the police.
I guess. I don't know. That's a long time.
It's pretty harsh, especially for
But
like
what do I
18.
know?
I guess he's an adult.
Yeah, I don't know much about the law.
The law. And then like it's not in the US. So
Okay.
maybe it's different. I don't know. But yeah, I thought so too. Anyway, you know, he's pissed off and rebellious still, so he would land in solitary a bunch of times for starting fights or starting riots. And he later goes on to tell like a Paris radio host that it was this experience, so like this first time in jail, that made him who he was. He blames the jail time for his future, spoiler alert, criminal career. And he said that he would have just stuck to petty crime or given it all up together, but that jails and prisons are essentially training camps for criminals and the criminal underworld. Because you go in there, you make connections, you learn how to be like sneaky, stealthy, etc. And I mean, it's mostly the connections for when you come out. Also, you like make friends with the people that are in there, and then you stay friends with them when you come out, or you like go to their families and they are involved in crime.
I'm not gonna, again, I don't know much about anything with this stuff, but if it's anything like the movies and all that jazz, I could totally see that, because typically the people that go in and they're not meant to be there, they don't make it out, or they get smart and they realize the only way to survive is to, you know,
Join the crowd.
join it, and they survive, but they become one of the criminals because
Right.
that's what you gotta do. So
Yeah, to survive.
unfortunately, I see how this kind of plays out, but carry on.
Yeah, so he blames that first experience. So fast forward to 1972, he's out, he's 21 years old now. He does call up the old girlfriend that he abandoned, but surprised, she wants nothing to do with him anymore. It's been 2.5 years, and he's called her up.
Well, yeah.
And she's not the ride or die that we'll talk about. But she is ironically now dating a cop. So she went from criminal to cop. Unperturbed by all of this and determined to win her back, he does what he does best, and he steals a car to go get her.
I just feel like sis found her worth. It's like, I don't need that. Boy ran out on me.
She was like, I was 18, I was young, dumb, learned.
Yep, fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway, while he's driving to her in this stolen car, he does get pulled over. He doesn't have his license because he, like, you know, just got out of jail. And he decides to run again, which is a pretty common theme. When he gets caught, he just immediately runs or nopes the fuck out of there. But he did leave behind all these other papers that did identify him. What papers? I don't know, but some sort of identifying papers. And he did get tired of running, so he steals another car. He gets pulled over again, and this time the cops know who he is because they've got radios, and they're like, hey, I pulled over this one guy, this is his description, this is his name, etc. And
Not saying it wasn't warranted or anything.
probably not the smartest idea to steal another car, but, you know, to each their own. So he does get sent back to jail, and he never made it to the lady. And then this time while he goes back in jail, he becomes obsessed with breaking out. Like, he's not going to serve his full time, like, ever again in his mind. The only thing he's concerned about is escaping. So, let's talk about prison escape number 1, because he does become successful in his obsession.
So, we've done it 5 times.
I mean, he is known as the king of escape.
Okay.
So he noticed that the model prisoners had jobs of loading and unloading trucks at the prison. So he was like, duh, I will just become a model prisoner and I will be able to get onto that team and I will have access to the entrance of the jail that is loading and unloading. And he does. He joins the team, and on the very first day he's on the team, he loads himself onto the truck and he hides in a bag and he rides the delivery truck to freedom. So he escaped that way. That was an easy way.
Way too easy.
That was very easy.
That's a little concerning.
Again, this is like
70s?
This is
Still.
70s.
Damn.
But given his criminal history and the probability of not passing a background check, but also that small little thing of, being like a fugitive, he can't just like go and get a regular job, and he's broke as shit. So he decides that he's going to become a burglar, and he's going to take a stab at like housebreaking burglary skills.
Great.
Which he sucked at. He was really lackluster at breaking into houses compared to at least his car stealing skills.
At least he's not killing anyone.
Right. This is not like
I have to find a glass half full scenario here. He's not hurting nobody.
Right. And it's not like he's like a super terrible criminal, which is why I said like I'm kind of a fan. Mm-hmm. And so he's in a house one night and he's making too much noise because he's really shitty at it. And the homeowners, they wake up upstairs and they quietly call the cops. Cops arrive and he's arrested again. So Michel is sent to jail for the 3rd time, but this time they send him to a different one because that other one was just too easy to break out of. This one does have a 6-meter high wall, or 20 feet for Americans, and then it has a barbed wire fence just like right before that. So he's got 2 fences that he would have to get through. And so every day Michel would walk around the perimeter trying to find a weakness in any of the fences or the walls, and he found one. He found like this rusted spot that he figured, if it's rusty, I can probably break through it. And he was not wrong. One day when the guard wasn't looking, he goes to that spot and he does break through it. So he gets through the barbed wire. So now he's at this 20-foot wall. And because that local priest had trained him in all this outdoorsy shit, including, I guess, climbing trees or scaling walls, he was able to climb up this 20-foot wall. The only problem was, okay, now he's up the wall, he has to get down it, and the other side is like smooth and flat. So he can't really scale down it or rock climb down it. So he decides, regrettably, that he's going to jump. So he jumps from 20 feet, and he breaks both of his ankles.
Oh, God. I'm sorry if I just broke eardrums. Oh, that's hilarious.
Both ankles and a tibia.
Oh, damn.
So the guards were alerted that they had a fugitive from his like blood curdling screams that kind of gave away his position.
I'm not saying what a bitch, but what a bitch. How are you going to be a fugitive that escapes, breaks 3 bones, and then gives it away by screaming with pain?
But like, what else are you going to do? Are you just going to like crawl
hold that
away?
Shit in. I don't know. You've got over for a 2nd time. Pull it together, man.
Both ankles and a tibia?
Listen, I'm not a fugitive trying to jump out and break ankles, but if you're going to be a fugitive and break ankles,
fucking commit.
Don't be a bitch.
Don't be a pussy about it. There's gonna be some.
That's just so funny. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that doesn't really count as like 1. So it'd be like a 1.5 because he almost.
That one
did.
doesn't count. So he gets out 5 times, not including that time.
Not including this time.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Because I would consider that successful, considering he got on the other side of the wall.
On the other side,
you know.
Yeah.
But okay.
But it's a half. I'll give it a half.
Okay.
The other like sources don't count it as like a full one because there's full other ones. Mm-hmm. But have no fear, this did not deter Michel. He recovered in the hospital, and upon his return to jail, he made a friend that would also help him out. And they decided to not deviate from the plan. It was still like a really great plan because, like you said, he did get out, but there was, that one little snafu of like getting down. So they're going to use the exact same plan, but this time they're going to make bedsheet rope to scale down. And the friend was like, bet, that sounds solid. I can get behind that. And so they do that. They make the bedsheet ropes. They stuff them into like their pants. They found that exact same rusty spot. So he escapes through that spot, and the jail does not decide, oh, we should probably like fix that. We should probably like cover that hole. Because he went through the exact same hole, and then they climbed up just like they did the first time. And then this time they had the bedsheet rope, so then they were able to scale down. So this time it actually works. And
This
then
is
they're
the same prison you said, right?
same prison.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
same,
are they not
same
being
hole.
more alert though? Like,
Again, 70s maybe? I don't know.
only already guys, get it together.
Paris, what are you doing? So, and then, yeah, no shatter bones this time. So, success. So, this was Prison Break number 2. And then, rinse, repeat, or reduce, reuse, recycle. He has no job. He burglarizes. He gets caught. And then it's straight to jail again.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's quick, wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. See you, ma'am.
How long was he in prison third, what am I trying to say here? The third time? After
third
he
time.
broke his ankles, how long was he in prison before he broke out?
Not
Again.
very long. Like, all
'Cause
of these are within probably like a year.
Because he had to wait for his bones
To
to heal.
recover. Right. So, and I don't think that takes too long, given the fact that, like, what rugby player that we know broke his leg and he was already standing.
I guess, but 3 bones and also you're in prison. Like, I feel like he's not getting the best care. And like we're saying, it's in the 70s. I don't know.
But I don't think he went back. Shit. My mic has been down this whole time. Oh, shit.
I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, shit.
The way you just...
It was like pointed down. I'm like, how long has it been that
Oh,
way?
that's hilarious. I haven't noticed. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
It's probably fine.
Apologies if it's like really muffled for like
Like 30
10 minutes. I don't know. I must have gotten excited and like whacked it down. Damn it.
Where you got too excited. That's funny.
I do
Okay.
apologize. I think he recovered in the hospital first before he went back to the jail,
Okay.
is what it sounded like.
Okay.
Okay. So he goes back to that same prison as before, but let's see here. But he goes to, like, I guess, like a more secure cell. So now the cell has a double row of bars, and it has barbed wire on the outside of his window.
Because of him?
Because of him, yeah. Where I think this is just a more high security area that he gets put to. And so now he has to come up with a new idea. He has to get creative. And he decides to make more friends. And this time, these friends have mob ties, or they're mobsters themselves. And he includes them on this new creative plan, which they are on board with. And so one day at lunch, Michelle creates a diversion by picking a fight with another inmate. So, of course, the guard rushes over to break it up, and all according to plan, Michelle starts fighting that security guard, like really like going in at it. While he's like wrestling with the guard, he's got wax from Baby Bell cheese in his hand, and he's warming up the wax in his hand while he's scuffling with the guard. Warms it up so it's warm enough to where it's like malleable. And what he does is he gets an imprint of the key to his cell from that guard that he's tussling with. So can you imagine you're like going back and forth with this guard and you've got like wax in your hand to get it warm, and then he has like the wherewithal to like get an imprint of the key.
The timing. I can't believe it.
All of this sounds like a fucking movie. And if you saw this in a movie, you'd be like, yeah, right.
Yeah. That's where I'm at right now.
But he gets an imprint of the key, and then with the help of his friends, they each take turns filing down a piece of iron to the shape of that key. So they take turns filing away with whatever.
You have to be so intricate.
You have to be very detailed.
There's no way, dude.
It works.
What the fuck?
They got the mold of it. It fit perfectly. He tried it on the door, and it worked.
Because a key...
It's got a lot of ridges.
Listen. The amount of times I've had a key that goes into the slot and it's just a key and it doesn't turn because it's not the perfect key.
But it's meant for that door. Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck? Like,
Yeah. So
I'm impressed. I need him as my locksmith.
Our boy is artistic. So it works. He gets himself, out of his cell. Sorry for that burp. We got the mic down. We've got burps. Apologies all around. So he gets himself out of the cell. Gets himself out of
Pull it together, ma'am.
Gets out of the cell. We went from Paris to the south. And he does his whole bedsheet rope trick because it's that same jail. So he goes out that rusty wire, climbs up the wall.
Why haven't they fixed the rusty wire?
I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
So then he's like, see ya, he's out. So that's prison break number 3. So this time though, once he's out, he decides to go and stay with the family of his mob friends. So that's what I'm saying, he's got these connections. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And while he's there, he meets a certain lady and he falls in love. And this woman, little snack. This woman, her name is Nadine. So enter in our ride or die-ish girl. Spoiler alert. They are 2 peas in a pod. They both have their own rap sheet. Hers is more with like fraud and like attempted robbery, while his is, like a little bit different. But you got 2 criminals and they have this hot and heavy, steamy romance.
Oh,
a rambunctious
I
romance.
like it.
Yeah. It's like what you see in the movies. It's love at first sight, lust at first
Ooh, that's
sight.
hot.
And yeah, you got this mob family and you got this other criminal and just like,
sexy.
yeah.
Inspiring.
It is. And so they team up, everything like that. And of course they attempt an armed robbery. It goes wrong and Michelle lands back in jail. And when I say armed robbery, it's armed because all the weapons that were used were toy guns painted black.
For someone who's For someone who's got it down to a science on escaping.
He really sucks.
The worst criminal ever.
He's
That's
both
hilarious.
the best and worst. He's really great at getting out, really shitty at staying out.
That's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also, like respect. Like, they're not trying to kill anyone, so we're just going to use the toy guns so no one gets hurt. And so, due to all of his other successful escape attempts, they do put him in a higher security jail this time. They put him in a different one. And this time, though, his sentence is 18 to 23 years, depending on what source you use.
Well,
But
honestly, at this point,
yeah, of all these
Yeah.
escapes, yeah. So they kind of add them up. And this prison, it's much smaller, and so it's way more exclusive. So you've got more eyes on you. We're talking like 60 inmates at most. So you're under a lot of like scrutiny while you're there. And so outside looking in, it would seem that Michel, while he's there at this smaller prison, had a spiritual awakening. And he's had like a change of heart, and he's going to change his ways from this new place because he becomes religious. He gets really into meditation and hardcore super into yoga. Like, yoga has become like his main bitch. And for 3 years, he stays for 3 years this time. He spent focusing most of that time on his yoga practice and meditation,
okay,
which will help him in the future.
go off.
During all this time, though, so during the 3 years, Nadine does go and visit him, and they actually get married while he is behind bars.
Romantic.
When you know, you know.
Has she been in prison at all?
Not at this point.
Okay.
Would you stay married to Greg if he went to jail? Or if you're engaged and he goes to jail, would you get married behind bars?
Depends on what he did.
If it was like, petty shit like this.
Because I'm calling it my ride or die. Like, well, if you didn't do, because I'm not a person that's going for a criminal. I'm that girl in the beginning that's going for,
like, see ya.
like, bye. I'm
gonna go to a cop
I had
now.
my bad boy phase. I'm looking for the cops
The good
now.
boy.
And I mean, Greg is a little bad boy sometimes, okay? But compared to the fuckheads I've dated in the past, no offense, like,
fuckheads.
I'm not looking for that shit. So if Greg went to prison, I would have been like, bro,
Grow up.
what are you doing? Yeah. To answer your question, no.
You would end it.
Yeah, that sucks. If he didn't do something and went to prison, I would fight to get him out with my life. But if he did some bullshit stuff that he deserved to go in there, I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man.
You're on your own.
Bye.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do.
It depends
On a lot
the
of
time.
things.
It depends on the crime. There's a lot of variables, but
So if it was murder,
yeah, no. What? If my homie, my ride or die, went and killed someone, that is,
you wouldn't stay with?
no.
Well,
I'm not batshit crazy. Are you batshit crazy?
it would depend on like a lot of things, and who the person was. And,
Okay. Again, self-defense. Yes.
yeah.
If he was just a man that had made a turn in his life and killed someone, why would I stick around for that?
What if it was an accident? What if it was a bar fight and the guy ended up dying from concussion, or he had like heart issues and that just did it?
Yes,
overdid
I
it?
would stay with him. You twat. You gotta throw these random ass.
That's why I don't answer immediately. There's all these factors.
Well, covering the basics. If he was just a fuckwit that went and started to cause mayhem in the world and want to see the world burn and just kill people unnecessarily, no, I'm not. That is not the life I'd like to choose.
Would you turn him in if you knew? Or would you let the cops figure it out on their own?
That's something I would probably spend a little more time debating.
Yeah.
It depends on the crazy. Loopy doopy.
Like how you're feeling that day?
No, not me.
What level of crazy am
not
I at
the loopy
today?
I'm talking about if Greg was at a point where he was just like actually insane and needed genuine help, but he wasn't. Like I would be like, we need to go. I would try to urge him to go turn himself in. I don't know if I could do it, but like, who's he killing? Is it a criminal? Is he playing Dexter here?
Right, that's where
Fuck
my
no,
mind.
I'm not turning him in. Like, well, somebody earned it.
Like vigilante type, you know.
But if he, this is, I think, a really intense, what if or would you rather, like one of those.
Like the hard questions, yeah.
If he, killed somebody in a hit and run,
Okay.
that is, I think, one of the things I never want to have to face, because I just don't know. But I think if I absolutely had to choose in the right here, right now, yes, I would urge him to go turn himself in, because we couldn't live with ourselves. I asked him this, actually not that long ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was curious.
If he murdered
like,
someone or if you murdered someone?
if he murdered someone, would he like turn himself in?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I couldn't live with myself with the guilt. I'm like, that's my boy. So proud.
A bad boy, but really a good boy out of her. All right, let's talk about Prison Break number 4. I was just curious.
We just went all around the world and we're back.
And we're back. Yeah, this isn't a hard question episode, but I was curious. All right. So Prison Break number 4. Michel is in transit to his preliminary hearing, and while in the van with a bunch of the other officers, it takes them like 3 hours to get to this place. They arrive, and one of the guards gets a little too close to Michel, and so Michel grabs him and attacks him with a pistol that he smuggled into the van. So now we have kind of like this little mini standoff, because Michel has just attacked this guard and they don't see the pistol yet. So they've got all their guns raised at him, and then Michel was like, wait a minute, I've got my own pistol, and he raises it to the guard. So then the rest of them stand down, they put their guns down, and then he just kind of like, saunters back or like steps back to the entrance.
Out of a fucking movie.
Yeah, with, holding the guard hostage. He gets to the front and then he runs, he pieces the fuck out. How did he get a smuggled gun? Well, I will tell you, because it's a great question.
Nadine.
No, not at this point, no. It was actually a bar of soap that he carved into the shape of a gun and then colored it black with shoe polish.
Again.
It was a bar of soap the whole time.
Got my soap, bitches. I am really, again, I'm inspired. I'm getting inspired tonight. There's so much inspiration.
Yeah, but also, respect. This dude has got to be pretty artistic to be able to fool the guard that he has the gun up to. And, I guess it's unscented soap because he didn't smell it.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Or I guess he's not feeling the texture.
Gosh, first of all, is this like a teeny little handgun? Because what bar of soap is this man using for it to be when I'm picturing this?
No, I'm sure he said pistol. I'm picturing he grabbed multiple bars of soap and molded it into, a bigger size and then shaped it into a pistol.
So many questions.
And added the details and colored it black.
Wow.
I mean, it fooled all the guards in the van.
He couldn't get a job. Be a fucking artist.
Be an artist.
Make carved fancy soap. Be a locksmith. Bro, you have so much potential.
I know. And then he does all this stuff.
Oh my god.
So he goes and he unites with Nadine. And they run off into the country to hide. And their plan for money, though, because they're both broke as shit, was to just keep robbing folks until they could retire, and they were going to retire in Argentina. So they have a 5-year plan, but their means to get to that plan is kind of shoddy. To avoid detection, though, Michel, he starts going by Daniel, and then he gets plastic surgery to change his face.
Where did he get the money for that shit?
Burglarizing. So he gets money to... He's committing to this.
I'm impressed.
If you're going to live this lifestyle, do you really have to commit? And he does. And they stay hidden for 2 years. But what had happened during those 2 years, though, they have this hot, steamy romance. Nadine also gets a bun in her oven. AKA, she also gets Prego.
Ooh, okay.
And kids... as we know, cost a stupid amount of money. Stupid amount of money. So, because it is outrageous. You have a whole other mortgage payment just by putting them to daycare.
Mm-hmm. Was that still the same thing or same issue in the 70s, though? Because I know it's an issue now.
It's an issue now, but I'm sure kids were still expensive back then. So Michel was like, I need to get more money. So logically, to get more money, let's rob a bank.
But quality parents.
This time, though, they do use real guns.
Uh-oh.
I know. And like all the other ones, it does go sour. And unfortunately, one cop is shot. I believe he does survive, but he did get shot. So Michel, straight to jail again. And this time, he goes to jail in Paris with higher level criminals. So we're talking serial killers, we're talking rapists, pedophiles, etc. So harder criminals. Nadine has her baby, and her and the baby would go and visit Daddy in prison.
Not in prison? Didn't she go to the...
I guess she somehow escapes, or she's not going with him on these robberies.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't really clear on the details then.
Okay.
But so she still takes her and their daughter to jail to go visit Daddy.
Romantic.
It is. So that's what I'm saying, it's a ride or die up until a certain point. And then I'm not going to spoil it. Okay. One of these visits, she slips him a note. And on the note, there is a day and a time. That day and time is the day that she's going to help him escape.
Are we on the 4th or 5th one?
This is the 5th.
Oh, 5th
This is the final.
Okay.
Yep. And this is the big one. They end it with a bang. So, and she gives herself plenty of time. So the date is May 26th and it's 10 a.m. So she goes off. Michel is in prison. He's practicing his yoga. And while he's doing his own hobbies, Nadine gets her own hobby, which includes, but not limited to, getting her pilot's license. So, and she does this in like really quick time. It's only like 3 to 5 months that it takes her to get the license. And then for 10 months afterwards, she goes to that same place, rents out the same helicopter, because apparently that's a thing that you can do if you have your pilot's license, is you can rent a helicopter.
Where is the money?
Well, she's also from a mob family, so I don't know if some of her family is giving her
money. Oh my gosh, I can't stand this couple's stupidity. What level of like artistic and quality in their
They are lacking in other departments.
Because if she has the ability to become a fucking pilot, she could have
been a captain.
Breadwinner. Like, just go do that and make your cute little romance something to live for.
And Michel could have
fucking prison.
He could have carved birdhouses and other stuff.
There's so much that could have happened here, but yet they choose to have the thrill of having repeated breakouts from prison. Like,
you know,
so
you just don't get the same rush building birdhouses and stuff.
I guess not. What do I know?
Right. So she does register for like all these lessons and stuff like that under a different name. So she tries to not leave a paper trail. She does pay for all of her rentals in cash. Everything is paid for in cash, which surprisingly, I guess it's also like in the 70s, like the rental place was not too sus about it. Mm-hmm. But so she went twice a month for 10 months, practicing going high, low, the different maneuvers until May 26th rolls around. And it's just before 10 a.m. And Michel, he has made another friend, and he's been up to his own scheming and observing. He learned the routines of the guards, the shifts, etc. And so him and this friend, they needed to figure out how to get onto the roof, because that's where the helicopter is going to pick him up, naturally. So the day rolls around, May 26th, just before 10 a.m., a disturbance is occurring. The disturbance is Michel again. So he's the disturbance with his friend. They're waving around grenades.
Are they soap grenades?
They're not soap grenades.
Okay.
And they're threatening to blow the jail. They're like, we're going to blast this popsicle joint. And no one's shooting at them because they've got grenades in their hands. So they don't want to blow up everyone else. And so they have the grenades in their hands, and they're backing themselves up onto the roof axis, and they get to the roof. And right on schedule, helicopter blades are heard in the distance, and it's Nadine for the fucking win. She is coming to the rescue, and she hovers right over the prison, and the guards are like, shit, like they're gonna hop on the helicopter and they're gonna get away. But at the same time, they're getting orders not to shoot at them because they don't want to blow up the jail, but also like this is downtown Paris, so they don't want to fuck up other people, other like innocent Parisians.
I'm gonna go with Parisians. I don't know that.
If you're nasty, it's Parisians. So Nadine, she throws down the rope, and Michel climbs up. Have you ever seen the movie with Jamie Lee Curtis and Arnold Schwarzenegger, True Lies?
No.
Okay, that's all I could think about when I was watching this.
I watched it? Is there a video?
No, sorry, not watching it, when I was reading it.
Okay.
And then the other movie that I was thinking of was Shawshank Redemption. Have you seen?
That sounds familiar.
It's a classic. Whenever he's doing Carving the Key, he was like Shawshank Redemption in it.
Say that one more time.
Shawshank Redemption in it.
Okay, nice.
Second time was better. Anyway, so she throws this rope down out of a helicopter. He climbs up it, and then his other friend that he made, Pierre, he's like running to hop on this rope also. But Nadine was like, sorry. She ditches his ass. She does not wait for Pierre. So Pierre is like running like bitch.
No.
Yeah. Again.
Oh, that's so You do not want to mess with him.
Every man for themselves again.
Oh, God.
And
All right.
yeah, and an amateur photographer did get pictures of this whole thing. So Google it, and it's like you see Michel hanging from the helicopter, you see him climbing up the rope, you see him getting in, you see Pierre left in the dust.
I love it. Carry on.
And we'll post them also. During this whole chaos, no shots were fired, and no weapons were actually used. When Michel goes and drops his grenades from the helicopter, everyone's, freaks out and they run because the grenades are dropping. They take cover, but then nothing happens. So then they're like, hold the phone. They go check out the grenades. It's not soap, but they are nectarines.
God damn it.
Again, painted.
That has to be. It's just comical how much they can fuck with them. Like, how has he not been written down in the books? Like,
hey, really watch this guy.
he is, yeah, one, keep an eye on him. He's really good at breaking out. Two, when he does break out, he fucks with everything but actual weapons.
But at the same time, you don't want the one time to assume that he's using soap or nectarines and he's actually using something legit. Because there was one, a cop did get shot that landed him in this prison this time. So they did use real guns at one point. So he's just like a wild card. You don't know what you're going to get with him. Anyway, so they're on the helicopter and they fly to this college campus quad. They land. Michel and Nadine run. They get into a waiting car and they ride off into the sunset. But first, they stop by Nana's house to pick up their kid. Mm-hmm. And then I wish that they would just live happily ever after, and then it would be like a true ride or die. But the story kept going, and here's where, things kind of get fuck shit crazy. Mm-hmm. So Nadine does get arrested this time because they are able to figure out it was her with the lessons and the cash, and she left some sort of paper trail that they were able to nail her. So she gets 10 months for helping Michel break out. And then Michel, he's in hiding, but he stays in the area, whether it's out of sheer stupidity or to, I guess, keep an eye on Nadine. I'm going to lean towards the more stupidity part based on the other evidence that we have. But he continues his criminal career in the same exact area of robbing, burglarizing, doing all the bank heists. And on one of his bank heists, it does end in a shootout. So real guns are used this time. And Michel actually shoots a cop in the gut 3 times. And then Michel himself gets shot in the head.
Damn.
And he fucking lives.
What?
Yeah. Whoa! He survives. I had to wait for it, yeah. He lives. That's what I'm saying. This is a fucking wild story.
Where in the head?
In the fucking head.
Okay. You ever hear that story, the iconic story of how a guy got a whole ass pole, but it completely missed like everything important?
Yeah.
So he had like some damage, and
mental damage.
It wasn't even real.
It was personality
damage. Yeah, it affected his personality, but he was still very much a person that could do his own shit.
Yeah.
And he had a pole go right through his brain.
This, I don't know where in the head. I'm sure there's a picture of it, but I know it stays in his head, and it doesn't seem like it. Well, it may have changed his personality. We'll see.
Okay.
So he's in a coma, and he ends up paralyzed on one whole half of his body. But, he lives through it. He goes through rehab, and once he's up and at him, then they go ahead and put him in that jail. And this time it's max security. Because it's like,
what's max security? This man who isn't going
who has escaped 5 times. It was like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Mm-hmm. Fool me 5 fucking times. That is just sheer shame. That is the most shame of shames. Embarrassing shame.
Where's Nadine?
So she is spending 10 months in a different prison.
Okay.
So
where's their kid?
I guess with the grandma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She was watching them while they were flying in a helicopter.
Amazing.
I know. What a fam. A fam that sticks together.
That's true.
Stays together. So Michel, while he's in prison, he does, what he knows and what he enjoys, which is yoga. Bitch, you get another snack. Our first video that goes onto YouTube is going to have Gina disappearing 3 times minimum.
You don't have to call her out so hard.
I asked if you wanted food before we started.
It's just so good. They're in season.
I know, they are pretty solid clementines.
I owe you 3 clementines.
That's fine. You're watching the cats. So. All right, so he's in prison. He's practicing what he loves, which is the yoga. And I shit you not, he regains mobility. So he went into prison paralyzed, half of his body paralyzed. And he did his yoga, and he 100% attributes his yoga practice to him regaining mobility.
Wow.
And he still has the bullet left in his head. They didn't take it out. Fucking wild. Meanwhile, Nadine does get out, and then she's busy momming the 2 kids because she was pregnant when she went into jail.
Wow.
So she went in pregnant. I don't know. She was in there for 10 months, so she probably had the baby in prison, in jail, while she was locked up. She does go and visit Michel, and when she visits, he was like, all right, what's our next plan? Are we going to do the helicopter 2.0? What are we going to do? And Nadine this time is like, I can't. I'm done. I'm sorry, but we've got 2 kids. I've got 2 kids.
Fair.
I'm ready to retire from this criminal career. It's too helter-skelter. It's too chaotic. It's not stable. So she tells him that, this is where we're going to part ways. And
she parts him?
Yeah, she leaves Michel.
She could have just waited for him.
At this point, he's got over 20 years. I think he's got 40 years.
Ride or die my ass.
That's what I'm saying. The little bit of the story that I did know was, she was a ride or die. And then it became, I got more into the story, so then I changed the title, Ride or Die-ish. And then, I get to the end of the story, and I'm like, it's not even about her. It's about Michel. So then I was like, all right, I need to come up with a new title. Mm-hmm. So stay tuned for what the title's going to be, because it's not, it's changed so many times. So she leaves Michel, and then she thrives. She goes on and she writes a book about her whole experience. She does the whole book tour and the TV specials, and she's making enough money from all that to support herself and the 2 kids. Mm-hmm. So, pop off, queen. While she's doing all these TV specials things, though, there is a 21-year-old law student that sees this and is fascinated by the whole story, but more specifically by Michel. She gets herself a little crush on Michel. So she decides to write a letter to him in prison, and they become pen pals, and they fall in love.
A law student. I tell you, those bad boys, they really suck it right in.
They really do it for some women. Because she fell hard in love. And to the point where, eventually, Michel just stopped reciprocating responses. He stopped writing to her. And she was like, oh, hell no, you don't. Mm-hmm. So what she does is she volunteers at the prison that he's at to teach Spanish lessons. So while she's there teaching Spanish lessons, of course she goes and she meets him in person, and she decides to tell him that I'm gonna break you out.
Did I mention the bad boys make good girls go crazy? It's a thing.
Love makes you do crazy shit. Maybe that's the title. Love makes you crazy. The power of love.
Crazy bitches go. No.
Bitch be crazy. We're in 1991 at this point. Okay. And so she decides she's going to break him out. She tells him this, and she's going to copy and paste a page out of Nadine's book. Literally. She is going to try and attempt the exact same helicopter fiasco escape plan that Nadine did. Let's not change a single fucking thing. Let's just try and do the same thing. And she does. First attempt, she gets cold feet. Second attempt, she goes 0 to 100 real quick. Second attempt, she holds a gun to the pilot's head. So she like hijacks the helicopter.
Wait, so does she not go to get her own pilot license?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's not the same level as Nadine.
Okay.
We've got like Aldi version of Nadine going on here. So she hijacks it, and the pilot is able to alert the prison and the authorities. You know, they've got their own buttons in there that they can press.
For a law student. See, it's... Okay.
I know,
For a law student, that's a dumb bitch. But of course, these stupid-ass criminals are actually pretty fucking smart and have so much potential. We are crossing paths here.
I know. It's like she's willing to throw away her whole future and career
Yeah, no kidding.
for this man who she's barely met.
Michelle's got to have a fucking schlong, is all I'm saying.
He's got to be packing
What?
some heat. Something. This is post like plastic surgery too, you know. He's had
Oh,
face
yeah.
and nose done, and
3 babies. Plastic surgery.
oh yeah, 3 babies.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because the first girlfriend. And
He's had so many... I'm just... What a life. Maybe I need to go
go to
rob
Paris and
someone. I think I need to become a burglar.
a burglar.
Uh-huh.
Good luck with that. Anyway, so as soon as they arrive to the prison, like she's arrested on spot because authorities and everyone like knows about
Naturally.
it. Naturally. Her name is Jamila.
Jamil?
No, there's an A at the end of it. So, like I said, apologies for my pronunciations. I hate when people mispronounce my name, and so Jamila.
Yeah, does she deserve it? Sorry.
I mean, she's kind of stupid, but she's young and dumb. I don't know if
Okay.
she's like really. I mean, she did hold a gun to someone, so that's kind of like red flag. And so immediately, like I said, she's arrested, and her plans of becoming a judge one day is just poof gone. She served 5 years before she was released. However, the attempt alone was enough proof of love for Michel. So he was like, all right, I'll fuck with this. So I'll fuck with that. So to reciprocate the love and devotion to Jamila, he converts to Islam because that's her religion, and her parents would only approve the fucking marriage if he was Islam. So he does. He converts to Islam, and the parents give their fucking blessing,
God.
and they
what?
get married.
They. Okay, wait, back up. I feel like that is something you don't fuck with as far as like. I feel like parents of that lifestyle do not welcome,
I feel like
that
more
sort of behavior.
stricter, right?
especially into their daughter who was in law school's
And then
life.
she goes to jail because of him for 5 years, no less.
Why the fuck did they give that green light?
They approved.
And also, I can't help but have the initial thought when you were like, okay, I fucked with her. I'm thinking he's like
Conjugal visits.
that's hot.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn hot.
Well, she tried to break him out.
I'll fuck with it.
And they did, because they get married.
Wow.
Even though he has 20 more years of his sentence, she decides, you know what? That's the kind of life I want to live.
Clinical error.
They get married while he's behind bars. Mm-hmm. And, 20 years left in his sentence. Plot twist, though. Just when you think the story can't get any fucking crazier, it does. Okay. It does. Michel was granted a surprise release only 4 years later because of the new law that was created. And so I don't know what the new law was, but he went on parole or to the parole board, and he convinced the parole board that he was like a new man, I'm a changed man, I have a wife now, etc.
Emotionally, physically.
I did my yoga, I can walk again, I can show commitment. I don't know what he said to convince, but they let him out. And like I said, he's still alive. He's 73 years old. He stayed married to Jamila. Mm-hmm. So she's kind of I guess another ride or die-esque. And you can see them just walking the streets of Paris with their dog.
What?
Yeah, they're still in Paris. She managed to become a lawyer. She didn't become the judge that she wanted to, but she is a lawyer. Yeah, after spending time in jail, she's a lawyer now. Michelle, and this is where I'm like, questionable, like a personality change with that bullet, because he became a poet. He became a writer. He's got a book out, maybe multiple books, I don't know. He has written movies, so he's got a movie out.
What?
Yes.
No, I don't feel like he's changed. I think he's had all of this potential
In him.
deep inside of him
But that
for this whole
bullet
time.
just pushed that button and got him out of the criminal
I do
mindset.
think I wouldn't doubt that. It hit the nice button.
It
It's
hit
like,
the-
bro,
yeah.
it's time to pull it together here.
Yeah, because he got very poetic.
How did everybody in the story just become so successful? The
know.
girlfriend from the very beginning goes and finds
There's
a cop. He gets good, gets with the wife that is very successful lawyer. He's a poet, and then his ex-girlfriend
Nadine.
is a fucking success story too.
Right, she has her pilot's
Everyone in
license.
this experience
It's a
is
win-win.
living their best life right now.
This is a happy ending
and
story.
It's such an exciting story.
It's
Ow.
wild.
That's awesome.
The power of love.
I had no. You took not
The
one,
journey.
not two, but 5 plot twists, like literally.
More than 5, yeah.
Wow, that's kind of neat.
That's what I'm saying. Like this, the more I heard the story, the more it like progressed. And I'm like, well, shit. I didn't even know
no
how
one
to.
ever heard that.
Exactly.
Where did you
right.
hear that?
Well, I just saw a little snippet of Nadine. There was like a headline that was like, woman gets her pilot's license, drives helicopter, gets husband out of jail. Something along those lines. So that piqued my interest. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to do a story on her and that.
Maybe that should be like, anyone can succeed.
Or like, it's not about how many times you fall down. It's about how many times you get back up. Because Michelle fell down a lot. He went in 5 times, he came out 6.
6 times.
Yeah.
Came out 7 because of that one we didn't consider.
That half, yeah.
That-
So I guess, yeah.
That
he went in
blood-curdling
6. The blood curdling.
little bitch.
Pussy. So yeah. Fall down, get in 6 times, get out 7.
Ugh, you know who didn't succeed? Pierre.
Poor old Pierre.
Sorry, buddy. He went down in history as the man that just didn't make it.
The man that did not get away.
I really am curious where he's at right now.
I know.
He's probably still there for all we know. Or
I hope not.
sorry, buddy. Because all that does is set him back because he tried to
He
escape
tried.
and failed. So that probably added on X amount of years.
Probably added more years.
Sorry, buddy.
Poor old Pierre. So
Don't beat Pierre.
it's not a win-win all the way around.
No.
There was some losses, yeah. But honestly, like goals.
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 Yeah.
Relationship goals, life goals.
Man, I gotta spruce my shit up. Kind of boring.
I know, like this, what a life, man.
What a thrill. If they can succeed after going through all that type of criminal behavior and shit, I mean, they did their time.
They did their time.
But they still came out and have like
They're thriving.
quaint and fun lives. I feel like I have to be such a little kept, prim proper, do everything right.
Here I am in my cubicle of my 9 to 5, and like
Not- no fucking kidding.
my excitement is
Oh, I got black tea instead of green tea today.
let's go crazy and let's get ice cream at 9 p.m.
I'm feeling a decaf. No,
I'm feeling
I'm getting
caffeinated.
caffeinated.
Let's caffeinate this bitch. Eh.
Show up 2 minutes late
Crazy.
to my meeting. Who is she?
God damn. Spank me and call me the devil.
Did I leave 5 minutes early?
Did I not go to church
Boss.
this Sunday because I slept in? Oh.
Sorry, call the cops. I'll escape with my soap gun.
And my nectarines. But yeah, a really wild, fascinating, inspiring story.
I'm really glad you shared that. I think that was a great one.
Yeah.
It was funny as shit.
Yeah.
Fascinating and needed to be told. I don't think I've ever heard such a thing. So
It's like a happy true crime.
yeah.
I like-
Who would have thought?
Who would've
I didn't
thought?
know that existed.
Exactly.
If I could do that over again, I would definitely want you to have like started with the plot twist that like, I don't know, but I like how it levels up. I like how
it gets crazier and
you just
crazier.
Don't know. If we can add this to the beginning, be like, preface, this is a wild fucking story. If you're not invested at the very beginning, like, just hold on. Yeah, it gets good. Because that was riveting.
Yeah.
But the beginning, you know, it was like, oh, okay. He's, you know, had some parents that didn't love him.
Well, I think I mentioned that he got out 5 times. So...
yeah, that doesn't even compare to the level of riveting that actually was. Now that we look back on it. So,
yeah.
Great story. All right, Weekly Wow.
Weekly Wow. Get your pilot's license in case you need to break your significant other out of jail.
Get your whole life together. That's what that equates to.
Or watch Shawshank Redemption because it's fucking awesome.
You know what? I'm going to set that as a goal because I know I've heard of that. I know it's a classic, and somehow I feel like I don't think I've seen it. So
it's an amazing movie. It's probably in my top 10. I love it.
Okay.
Prepare to have your heartstrings tugged at.
Weekly Wow, you know, really think about, do you love the person you're with enough to...
would you break them out?
Break them out and get your license? Really decide if who you're with is your ride or die.
Is your ride or die. Also, I guess along that lines, because I was trying to think of like a relationship type Weekly Wow. And just like having spoken to some people, like not all relationships are like rainbows and butterflies 100% of the time. Like sometimes you have your rock bottom basements or like things aren't just going as Gucci. If you really, really love that person, like make the effort. Like effort is required on both ends, like two to tango. Whether it's, you know, like setting up a date night that week or just buying them like some flowers or just showing like a little bit of effort on your end. Be the bigger person and like step up first. Just like show some sort of like, hey, we're in this together. Like, hey, I still love you. Like, hey, let's do this. And then if it's not reciprocated, then you know where you stand.
Go off.
But you know, it's like, you know, like just like schedule like dinners like for that week. Like be present during the dinner. You know, like wait for them for dinner or like, you know, cook something for them or eat their meals or I don't know, like just show effort where you like have been lacking effort. Something.
I love that. Well done.
Thank you.
Do you have any advice for our singles?
Get your pilot's license or be a criminal because it's hot apparently.
Yeah, honestly, go get a pen pal with a prisoner and see where it takes you.
I'm kind of curious
Don't do
to
that.
do a pen pal thing.
I haven't done that since, I don't know, first grade, and I loved it. Want to do it again.
But like with a regular person or with a criminal?
Either or. Maybe not a criminal, because I just don't know, you know? I don't want to give them my life story and then find out I'm their next victim when they come out. Don't make that face. Don't think about it.
Immediately I had like a million different thoughts.
All right, I'm
that was my
thinking
face.
Bye.
Bye.